Hello, my name is Lewis. I'm an SEO at Digital Ethos, here at the Growth Festival to talk about how much good schema can benefit a website, as well as the actual steps to putting it on your website. So, I'll be starting off with what is schema and the two languages involved, JSON and Microdata, a little bit of a connection between psychology and SEO, local business and question and answers to put on your website, some of the examples I've had of successes using this schema, and then the actual steps involved putting local business schema on your website, question and answer microdata on your website, an advanced tip for implementing some schema, and then the resources and how I've come to get here. So what is schema? If we type that into Google itself, the first thing that comes up is actually a psychology term. In psychology and cognitive science, a schema describes a pattern of thought or behavior that organizes categories of information and the relationships among them. Does that sound familiar? For SEO, schema markup is code you assign to text in order to help search engines like Google or Bing categorize information and the relationships between them. So in other words, we're helping Google better understand schemas or the relationships between information and how that affects our search patterns. Boom! You now know more about schema. But what does it actually mean for a website? Using different HTML languages, in my case I'm going to be using JSON and Microdata, we can apply tags to information that helps Google categorize what's actually on your website. If you've ever talked to an SEO agency who mentions the position 0, this is what a rich snippet is. This might also be the map pack when you're searching locally, it might be a piece of information. There's more different types of schemas and rich snippets appearing all the time. Many websites actually use all these different kinds of schema tags to mark up the information for search engines. We can even look here at the BBC's news source code to see they've tagged themselves up with a news article. But let's think back to psychology and how it fits in with SEO. We already now know that schemas are about creating connections between information. If we take a look at the very well-mined example, we might see a person and think about their appearance or the way they act, and all the different branches that can come from those thoughts. The schema.org, it works the same. If you're a local business, what do you think of? Well, it needs a name, an address, a phone number, a description about what you are. These are all the things that you tell a search engine so they can create stronger connections for people that are searching. On to the two languages. I like to use each one for a different purpose. JSON is ideal for tagging a website and helps immensely with local SEO ranking when you give an address, while Microdata is best for tagging specific elements on a website and should be used alongside any blog creation or research. This is the average position of our website, digitalethos.net. We originally started back in January 2020 at an average position across 300 keywords at 30. Now we're up to 20. For the actual keywords, we can see Leicester, Birmingham, York, even the whole of the UK. This is just what putting the local schema on your website can do. This is a courier client we have, and it's one of the largest average position movements I've seen. Starting down at an average keyword position of 90, it is now up near 25. The keywords themselves have grown massively. Most were not even ranking at all last year, but they are now ranking for some very difficult keywords across the whole of the UK. Finally, for JSON local business examples, this is a used car sales client, which is extremely local based as an industry. Last year they were not even ranking in their own town, but after placing the right automotive reseller schema, they are now in their local map pack. For Microdata, you might recognize it more as these rich snippet boxes. In the case of these two websites, it is Q&A Microdata placed onto the website which has tagged information to the best serve Google's user intent. These don't have to be blog pages. For both examples here, it's answering a what are or is question. Both of these pages are still product-focused, transactional style pages. They are simply tagged up correctly using Microdata FAQ page schema. This is the moment a lot of new SEOs might have been waiting for. When I first learned schema, the tutorials out there aren't really that great. So here's a really basic step-by-step guide we'll go through now. 1. Go into schema.org and type in local business at the top search bar. Hit enter and then click on the local business results at the top. 2. Scroll all the way down to the bottom where it gives you examples. Most people don't know that schema.org actually has examples you can use. I was one of them. Change the little button to JSON LD. 3. Copy that code and go to the Search Engine Rich Snippets testing tool. Then paste in that code into the Code tab. 4. Change all of the information to be about your business, the address, telephone, whatever you need. Be sure to also change the @type to local business too. 5. Add or remove information the more you find out about different schemas to use. The default codes that schema.org gives you also does not have the image tag. To put it in, you can add in a comma at the end of the URL line, then add in a link to an image of your business. 6. You've now got your schema code ready to roll. So now it's about placing it on the website. 7. An easy way is to paste the code above the closing tag of your header.php file. If you're on WordPress, this is in Appearance, Theme Editor, Header, or you can ask your developer or website manager to put this code in for you. 8. And not really a necessary step, but there is another way to put in JSON through Tag Manager. I'll come into that in the end. 9. Finally, save your header and run your website through the rich results tests for URLs. That way you can see if it's firing correctly. These are the steps to place a microdata on your website. It's actually simpler than using JSON, and any content writers that work closely with SEO should keep this in mind. 1. Find out first if your website platform can actually support editing text at a code level. Traditional CMSs like WordPress can be done by toggling to text mode. Others you might see this little button to change to a code view. If you don't see this, you may have to go through an FTP or change CMS to a modern platform. 2. Go to the developer's Google site for data type FAQ page, then scroll down to the examples and change it to microdata. Copy the code. 3. Paste this code into your text code editor on your website. From here you can change the questions and answers to the ones you want to put on your website. 4. If you want more or less questions, follow the example by Google. After that you can apply styling, add in links, but always be careful of editing in the non-code format in case it saves over the schema tags or any of the dividing tags. 5. Test it on the Google Snippet Checker until it all comes up okay. Nearing the end, here's some useful resources I've used to put this presentation together, including the links to the schema local business and FAQ, the developers page and some schema generators you can use to understand how it all comes together. If you learn more, you can spend time in the Rich Snippets Code Editor Checker to see what else you can add to your website. Finally, a little tip to put your schema JSON through Tag Manager. Nearing the end, here's some useful resources I've used to put this presentation together, including the links to the schema local business and FAQ, the developers page and some schema generators you can use to understand how it all comes together. If you learn more, you can spend time in the Rich Snippets Code Editor Checker to see what else you can add to your website.